Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists of the pointless things, where we fly and buy his pointless statue in Booty Bay, because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is the sky at the Broken Shore, and the Broken Shore was originally known as Thaldranath, and it's where the Tomb of Sargeras is located, and the Burning Legion's gateway into Azeroth. And the coolest part of the sky to me is where the giant energy beam is kind of shooting up into the clouds, and you can see it's creating this big vortex and lighting everything up like lightning, and there actually is lightning in the background as well, but I just love the way that looks, how it's all swirling up there and the clouds are rotating and they're just kind of parting away from the energy. I don't know, I just think it looks really cool. And even the clouds away from the giant energy beams still have a very unique feel to them. It's like this bluish, greenish, almost swampy type of color. There's like some gray in there as well. And then that all is above the horizon where it looks like it's a turquoise, like a dark turquoise there. I don't know. It's a very cool looking sky. It's a very unique type of sky. And so I really wanted to put it on the list. Plus, you know, the Broken Shore doesn't really make many lists outside of this. So that's why the Broken Shore sky is number 10. 9. Number 9 is the sky in the entrance of the Caverns of Time, which is a very oddly specific thing to put on this list, but I do think it's worth it, because when you go down the tunnel for the Caverns of Time, there's just so many random buildings and holes in the wall, and when you take the time to just stop and look out at the sky, it's really cool. There's planets, and there's asteroid belts spinning around, and there's a bunch of stars, and there's like purple, reddish colors. Like, I actually think it looks sick. They even have a lot of the beams that are in Outland, and some of those beams are carving their way through the walls of the cavern. It's a genuinely cool area that I think a lot of people overlook. And when you get to the main lobby area, I don't know what to call it. It's like a big main lobby with the hourglass and the sands of time flowing. You can actually just look up at the sky from there and kind of see the full picture, because walking through the tunnels, you're just getting a glimpse of what's out there. And then you finally reach this final destination and you look up and you're like, yo, this is so cool. All the asteroids and the colors and the stars. I just think it's neat. And so that's why the Caverns of Time sky is number 9. 8. Number sky, dude, I don't know what I'm saying. Number 8 is Shadow Moon Valley, and specifically the Draenor Shadow Moon Valley, and that's because it has a beautiful sky. And one of my favorite parts about this sky is the clouds. They almost remind me of like DreamWorks clouds, like, you know, in the movies where they have the DreamWorks logo and all the clouds are floating by and that kid's like fishing on the moon. It reminds me of those clouds. Like, they look very similar in terms of like their structure and how they're floating. I don't know, that's what it reminds me of. Maybe I'm crazy. But then there's all the little stars in the sky, and you've got purples, you've got blues, you've got the giant planets back there, or moons. I don't know what they are, but you've got the crazy like space plasma. I actually don't know if that's what is that like the actual science term for it, space plasma? Somebody that's smarter than I am about space, let me know in the comment section. Yeah, I think this sky just looks so cool in so many different ways, with the clouds and the stars and the planets and all the different colors, and it's just, I just like it a lot. So that's why the Shadow Moon Valley and Draenor sky is number 8. 7. Number 7 is the sky in Zuldrak, and this is such a cool sky because of the way the clouds move. So you have some clouds going one way, you have some clouds going the other way, and it creates this cool animation up in the sky on top of the lightning and the different colors, because some of the clouds are just kind of gray and blue, but then it transitions into this bluish red color and almost feels like the blue outlines the clouds, which I just think looks awesome. And then the red almost mimics the trees. Like, I think the color of the trees is almost reflecting back into the clouds. That's kind of the vibe that I get. But it's also possible that's just the way the clouds are. Like, I feel like I'm in an art museum right now trying to overanalyze something that doesn't really have that deep of a meaning. Like, it's probably just some guy at Blizzard being like, this looks kind of cool and it matches the aesthetic of the zone. And you know what? That's all I need, because I think it looks great. And that's why it's on the list. And so that's why the Zuldrak sky is number 7. 6. Number 6 is the Hallowfall sky, and I love the skybox because it makes you feel like you're outside when we're actually underground, right? Like, you've got these clouds, you've got the crystal acting as the sun, you just got people flying around, and you're like, oh, we must be outside, but we're actually just deep underground. And so it's this kind of trippy situation where you walk into the zone and you're like, wow, we're outside, and then you're like, wait, hold on a second. No, we're not. And I actually thought about putting this higher up on the list, but I do think this skybox is kind of carried by the crystal, you know what I mean? And so that made me kind of drop it down a bit, because I was like, if the crystal wasn't here and it wasn't shining and lighting everything up, I think the sky would just be kind of okay, or just be a cave. But But I guess you can kind of say that about anything on the list. Like, if you get rid of the clouds and the colors, it's just a normal sky. I don't know. But you know what? It's my list, and it's a pointless list, so none of it really matters anyway. So that's why Hallowfall is number 6. 5. Number 5 is the sky in Outland, and I kind of combined a bunch of skies in Outland. I combined Hellfire Peninsula, Netherstorm, and Nagrand, and I did that because they all have a similar vibe to them, so I just thought it'd be easier to combine them all. So Hellfire Peninsula I think is my favorite. I've always really loved the way the beams crossing in the sky look and all the different planets up there, and I just think it looks the coolest for me personally. I just like the way that looks. But Netherstorm is a close second. I love how it also has these big beams of energy pulling the clouds down. It almost feels like a mixture of some of the skies we've already seen, like the Shadow Moon Valley and the Broken Shore. In fact, they probably got inspired from Netherstorm or Hellfire or some of these places. And then you have Nagrand, which feels like it's a bit of a lighter version. Like there's just a lot of white clouds and the beams are still there, but they're a little more transparent or not as intense. There's still some big beams and stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely more of a chill, open plains vibe, which makes sense because that's what it is. But even then, at nighttime, it gives off a little bit of that Netherstorm vibe. But overall, really cool skyboxes in Outland, and so that's why I had to put them on the list at number 5. 4. Number 4 are the skyboxes in the Townlong Steppes and in the Dread Wastes. And I picked these because they're kind of intertwined in a way, and I'll show you what I mean. And so the Townlong Steppes has these lighter, bluer, fluffier clouds, and when you look up, it almost has this angelic aesthetic to it, like you're looking into the heavens or something like that. But then when you go to the Dread Wastes, everything looks more corrupted, probably because it is actually corrupted. And it's just dark and gloomy, and it has this kind of ghostly aura going around. And then you slowly look up and you see this black sky with all these veins kind of working their way through the sky as if it's like corrupting the circulatory system of the atmosphere, you know what I mean? But then if you go back and forth on the border between the two zones, just look at that. Look at the contrast between the two. It's like, whoa, whoa. And it's almost like one of the zones is how the sky is supposed to be, and then the other zone is how it has been corrupted. And so I just love seeing that and going back and forth in the contrasting skyboxes, and it just looks really cool. And so that's why I had to put it at number 4. 3. Number 3 are the Aurora Borealises in World of Warcraft, and specifically the ones in the Howling Fjord, Grizzly Hills, Borean Tundra, and Drustvar. And what I love about the ones in Northrend is they have the same feel wherever you go. You look up and you go, oh, that's the Aurora Borealis, right? Whether you're in Howling Fjord, Borean Tundra, Grizzly Hills, like wherever you go. But there's certain instances where you can look up and it looks completely different. For example, this area in the Howling Fjord with the spiders and the ghosts, you look up and it just looks insane, like the purple and the fog, and you can see the stars. Like, I always loved the way this looks. It was one of my favorites back in the day, like 10 years ago when I made top 10 skyboxes, because this is actually a remake, but that old video was terrible. It was 3 minutes and it was me being like, this is number 2 because I think it looks cool and I like it, which I guess I still do, but I do it in a much more in-depth format. And then there's the Aurora Borealis in Drustvar up in the mountains, which does look like a much higher quality version of the Aurora Borealis, and the colors are a little more richer and deeper, but I still think the Northrend Aurora Borealis is pretty cool. And so that's why all the Aurora Borealis skies are number 3. 2. Number 2 is a combination of the Stormsong Valley, the Onaran Plains, and Dornegal. And I did this because a lot of them are just these big, wispy, fluffy white clouds, and they each have their own variation of that, but I think each variation is pretty cool in its own way. And I love that in the Onaran Plains, the clouds kind of resemble wings. Like, that's what I think of, right? Like the hawk wings or eagle wings, and it's just, they look very wispy and feathery and almost whimsical in a way. And then over in Dornegal, I feel like the clouds remind me of a painting almost, like an oil painting, the way they look and how they've got this smudgy look to them. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's very like smudgy. But then some of the clouds are very stringy, like, I don't know. And then the Stormsong Valley clouds really do give off this vibe of like a big storm is about to roll in and you can see it coming in, these big thunderous monstrous clouds, and then the sky turns dark, and it's just, I love that. I think the aesthetic of Stormsong Valley is my favorite part of it. But yeah, all these places have phenomenal skyboxes, and I like all of them, and that's why I put them at number 2. 1. And number 1 is the Ardenweld sky, and this is without a doubt my favorite sky in World of Warcraft. I didn't even remember this one. I was like, I should go check Shadowlands. There might be some cool stuff there. And then when I got to Ardenweld, I was like, dude, this is amazing. Like, it's genuinely just such a beautiful sky, like all the different blues and the purples and the various colors, and you have all the like stars in the sky, like all the constellations and stuff. But like, I don't even know if these are real stars, because like, aren't we in the afterlife? Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's an illusion. Maybe this is all magic, but whatever it is, it's beautiful. And in fact, there's these meteor showers or star showers. I don't know, whatever it is. There's these little balls of light that come shooting down. They're like, pew, 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 almost like it's raining stars. It's so cool. And it's probably one thing that people have forgotten even existed, because Shadowlands was an expansion that not many people played or don't want to go back to or whatever. But this is easily one of the coolest things that came out of Shadowlands. And that's why it's number one. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. Make sure to like the video and comment below on what skybox is your favorite in World of Warcraft. Also, if you want more Pointless Top 10, you go check out Top 10 Overlooked Wall Art in World of Warcraft. That kind of relates. It's like an art type of thing. Or you go check out Profession Trainers from last week. Okay? Okay. See ya.